Anger is the emotional response that we have to an external or internal event perceived as a threat, a violation, or an injustice. It has been widely theorized that anger is an adaptive response and is a version of our fight or flight response, which in turn is believed to have evolutionary usefulness in protecting us from danger. The emotional response cycle emotions are triggered by internal thoughts, which are thoughts, feelings, psychological states, or external events. Such events are immediately interpreted by our thoughts, often not conscious. That interpretation then gives rise to an internal neurochemical reaction. At that point, we experience the emotion and we react to it, either internally with more thoughts or emotions, or externally through behavior and actions, and sometimes both. Biological differences also mediate the reaction to emotional triggers, as well as the experience and resolution of the emotion. The experience of anger is learned and varies from person to person. For example, someone may cry when they feel angry, while someone else may just yell. I always end up crying when I'm angry or frustrated. We usually learn how to experience and deal with anger in our families of origin. There may be families where emotions are constantly expressed regardless of the consequences, while others may not be able to tolerate any show of emotion. Also, often within families, some members are not allowed to express the expression of certain emotions, while others are not. Our biological predispositions, in conjunction with the experiences we were exposed to during our crucial development stages, establish the parameters of our emotional experience and expression, including anger. However, all experiences of anger have the following elements in common. We experience what's happening as unfair. We feel helpless in the moment, threatened, vulnerable, exposed, shamed, victimized, violated, inadequate, or unable to meet important needs. We then personalize the experience. It's being done to me, or it's happening to me. We all feel angry at times. Anger is a part of normal human experience. However, if we handle and express this anger inappropriately, we can do harm to ourselves and/or others. Anger by itself is not destructive, but how we try to cope with it can be. There are 4 basic ways in which a person responds to anger. 1. Aggressive anger is externalized. 2. Passive aggressive outwardly, but showing anger through indirect actions or sabotage. 3. Passive anger is internalized or locked up. 4. Assertive anger is appropriately managed and communicated if necessary. Some people have particular anger style that they most often use, but it is most uncommon for people to shift their response to anger depending on the setting and circumstance. Often people who express their anger in passive or passive-aggressive ways are in situations where the overt expression of anger might be have harmful consequences. Neglecting our anger can be harmful. Unresolved anger is damaging to our bodies, our interpersonal relationships, and our own psychological well-being. Because unresolved anger can leave us in a state of perpetual emotional arousal, or make us feel chronologically helpless or hopeless. Acting out anger inappropriately is not attending to it, and neither is turning it inward. In the short run, acting our anger out is destructive and inappropriate ways may give us the illusion of resolution, but not having to tolerate such a difficult and daunting emotion. But if we make a habit of acting out, we put ourselves at the mercy of our anger, letting it control us and our lives. The guidelines for effective anger management include: don't make it worse by rash behavior, such as words or action. Respond rather than react whenever possible. This means that you may have to take a step back and slow down. When we are in the grip of our anger, our judgment is clouded and our perceptions are distorted. Anything that decreases reactivity and helps gain an accurate perspective of the situation empowers us. Any calming activities, such as deep breathing, will center us and make us better decision makers. It is helpful to think of anger management as a toolkit with different tools to be selected to deal with different situations. the same way that we would use a hammer for a nail and hang a picture on the wall and not a wrench. And conversely, a wrench for opening pipes rather than a hammer. We need to pick the right and choose the anger tool for the right situation. The first step in developing this skill is by acquiring as many tools as possible. This often requires our stepping outside of our comfort zone and practicing new behaviors and new ways of thinking. The second step is choosing the most effective tool in our kit for a particular situation or challenge. And remember, not all tools work for everybody or all the time. The following are some helpful tools: effective stress reduction and stress management, focusing on the areas in which one has control, standing up for oneself in a firm but respectful way, setting appropriate limits or boundaries, knowing when to let go, confronting when appropriate and safe, avoiding when appropriate, humor, physical exercise, increased life mastery and satisfaction, building on one's strengths and addressing life's challenges, realistic expectations of ourselves and others, emotional and psychological healing. When the experience of anger doesn't feel tolerable, it may be covered up over and by other more tolerable emotions or mind states, such as fatigue, rationalization, blame, sadness, or helplessness. Anger may also have an expression of other psychological conditions, such as depression or unresolved trauma. It may also be the result of other psychological conditions, such as substance abuse or injury to the brain. There are many myths about anger. One of the myths being, ignore it and it will go away. Well, in reality, if we have a feeling that persists and we deny it, it will manifest in other indirect, more harmful ways. Another myth being time heals all wounds. In reality, unless emotions are resolved, they will fester. Another myth, let it out and you'll feel better. Reactive expression of anger may provide a momentary subjective sense of relief, yet habitual blowing up harms one's physical health. Another myth is, I can't help it, I'm an angry person. Reality. The attitude confuses feeling and acting, leaving you at the mercy of your over-fluctuating emotions. Another myth, it is other people and situations that make me angry. In reality, not everybody gets angry at the same things. We make ourselves angry by the way in which we interpreted events. Also, we choose this stance. We allow circumstances outside of ourselves to control our peace of mind. I have a habit of letting things fester. Little things. I always let the little things fester and fester and fester until finally I blow up, which is not healthy. So it is important to take care of yourself and your anger in an appropriate way. So utilize some coping skills. Be like, okay, I need to calm down before I react. I'm getting out of that frame of mind, going for a walk. I've been using these skills more recently, and it's really, really helped.